Today's episode is brought to you by Mazars.
SoundCartel.
At times, being so involved in your business can make it hard to see the wood for the trees, even for CEOs. So, how can you clarify the view and find solutions to issues like sales and growth? From SoundCartel, I'm Nicole Goodman, and this is Business Essentials Daily. You know the story. The reports looked oh so good, and you were looking forward to a bumper year in sales. But then the results came in, and they weren't just slightly off the mark, they were woeful. What could have gone wrong? With 25 years' experience as an acclaimed business consultant, and with a reputation for helping businesses transform their fortunes, Adele Crane understands the levers that CEOs need to pull to drive growth through marketing and sales. But CEOs don't always see the full picture within their business, she says, and sometimes they don't even want to interfere. Just in time to listen and learn over the festive season, Adele has released an audiobook all about it, titled The Sales-Focused CEO, Looking at Business Through a New Lens. So, what do we need to know? First, Adele Crane tells Heather Dawson there's a problem when a CEO knows there's a problem but fears changing anything in case things get worse. Really? What's going on?
A lot of times I find with business owners, they've had some attempts to make changes and it hasn't worked out for them, so it's a little bit of shyness towards, can this go wrong again? What am I going to do? There's a sense also that sales are always problematic. It's an area of the business that has a lot of personality, and they just think that the noise and the problems come with the territory, which is not the case. And I think it's a lack of experience on how contemporary sales actually operates in the market now. Sales and marketing is nothing like it used to be 10 or 20 years ago.
So when owners identify sales problems, are you saying that they're really not seeing the full picture? Or is there more to it than that?
They're seeing a sales problem, but the problem they see is there's not enough revenue. And the mantra over the years, it's been touted that, just teach your people to sell better and that'll solve your problem. But it's a lot more complex than that. And there's many areas that contribute to getting that top line revenue to come in. And it's about getting that balance right between sales and marketing. If you've got an overemphasis on your sales team and an underemphasis on marketing, or maybe vice versa, that can be part of the root cause. And then you've got all the other issues, like it could be wrong messaging, targeting, connecting with the wrong people, sales productivity issues, pay structures, sales structures. So there's about 50 different reasons why things aren't happening for you. And it's about knowing exactly which of those 50 you need to be dealing with.
Now, Adele, business owners are reliant on the reporting of sales results to make their decisions. So with those reports, is that where the problem lies? They don't really see the depths of the problems in those reports?
Correct. The traditional reporting will understate the seriousness of the problem. So a lot of people, you're looking at financial reports and they're what we refer to as lagger reports. You're looking at this is what we've sold year to date, this is what we did last year, and people are looking at that making enormous decisions over how to run their businesses. A contemporary company is going to do what I refer to as do a horizon management. Horizon management is about looking into the future and seeing well ahead, what do I need to change? What are the problems going to be? How do I go about adjusting it? Do I adjust a bit of marketing, a bit of sales, and work out what would be the best way to bring those numbers in? I often use the metaphor, it's a bit like sailing a boat. You look well ahead across the seas and you continually trim and turn that boat according to the changes in the wind and the waves. Sales and marketing is a lot like that. It needs a lot of adjustment throughout the year.
Can I just ask you, though, about all this, Adele? Sales leaders, they're responsible for putting together the sales reports. So the business owner or the CEO is very dependent on that sales leader for the information that they receive, on which they can act in their business. Is that a problem with the power of a sales leader?
A sales leader, like any other person, will only present the information that's going to be of benefit to them. They do not like transparency. People don't like transparency, and CEOs need to be able to see right down into the depth of everything to make sound decisions. So a sales leader can often be one of the biggest risks to how you bring your revenue in.
So what type of reporting should a CEO receive to manage marketing and sales?
I think the key to all the reporting is the depth of information you can pull together, and I like to manage trends rather than moments in time. So I'm looking to find the measurement on the key drivers that contribute to the entire sales journey, and then look at those and say, are we on track, are we off track, what do we need to adjust? What I'm not going to do is look at an off-the-shelf CRM measurement and say that's going to give me my answers, because there's not enough depth and it doesn't track far enough through the journey for me to make good decisions. What I need is a one-page report that's insightful and it's predictive and it's manageable.
So what other areas do I need to measure in the business to achieve profitable sales?
A lot of people focus with sales teams and they look at the top line and say, we want to bring in X amount of $1 million, and if we can keep a gross margin of 35%, we'll be very happy people. And I look at it and I say, as a business owner, I want to maximise the profit that I can make. So I'm looking at things where I'm not just measuring the top line, I want to measure the contributors that are going into operating that sales and marketing division. I want to look at things like how efficient is my marketing, what return am I getting on that marketing, and where do I get my best bang for my dollar that I'm spending in that area. How expensive is the sales team or the product specialist to operate? And I'm looking for smarter ways to structure the business, to structure the processes and get a higher return on my money that I've invested into sales and marketing. I often talk about with people and say you need to take a lean thinking approach to this. And if we can have that lean thinking approach, we can strip a lot of cost out, be more efficient, and increase the top line and increase that bottom line.
So what type of budget should a business owner set for marketing and sales costs, do you think, Adele?
It's one of those questions that I get asked a lot, and people have often said, what are the benchmarks for it? And if I took an accountant's standpoint, they'll say that, based on the benchmarking, marketing could be 3 to 6%, depending on the industry, sales 2 to 15%. But the problem there is, to me, is there's an underlying assumption that those companies are actually operating effectively. So what I'm going to do is take a different approach and say I'm going to look at this from the top down. How much money do you want to make for the year? Just name the figure, and then we can do a lot of calculations and work out this is what it's going to take to bring that in. This is what the costs are going to be. This is the return on your investment, and it comes down to are you comfortable with that or not? And we can make it adjusted accordingly and also have proof that this is achievable. It can be done, and here's the roadmap on how to make it happen.
Can you give us an example of a company that illustrates what you're talking about?
We're dealing with a national company about 12 months ago, and the CEO had decided that he wanted to turn over about $78 million. And when we looked at it, it was a fairly high jump in what they were doing. They'd gone to market and done a lot of hiring of new salespeople, marketing people, and decided that that's what was needed to make it happen. When I went through the numbers and looked, I had to sadly advise that you're only going to turn over $45 million based on where you're at with your new hires, your marketing effectiveness, sales effectiveness, and some other factors. So that wasn't good news. He didn't want to hear that. But at the end of the day, the final reports came in and they only turned over $42 million for the year, with a major hit to their profitability.
Well, to turn things around, how do business owners get the experience and understanding that they need to look at it in a real sales-focused CEO way?
I think, like all business owners, they do say it's lonely at the top, and it is because you're working in your business and you don't have a lot of exposure to what other businesses are doing. It's not like you're an employee, you spend a few years here, a few years there, and you're getting exposed to different things all the time. So as a business owner, you become very reliant on what people bring to the table in their role, which can be very limited, which we touched on with some of the sales managers previously. So it's a huge risk, and business owners need a way to find more information. So I spend a lot of time educating them on how to work with more contemporary standards, more transparency, and understand a lot more about what's going on in their businesses. I do a lot of reviews that become working documents for business owners so that they know how to drive the sales and marketing, what they need to be seeing, when it needs to be applied, and why it matters. And that understanding is critical.
Well, helpfully you've also just written a book. Can you tell us about that?
I've written the book, The Sales Focused CEO, and it's a book that's written for small business owners through to CEOs of larger organisations. And the important thing is it's written from a CEO or a business owner's point of view. So it's not about the traditional rhetoric of sales management and compensation plans and whatever. This is how to run your sales and marketing division, what you need to be seeing, how to drive through some changes in it, and how to actually, at the end of the day, I suppose, how to make money. And that's why you're in business. For the convenience of business owners, I've just released the book as an audio book, which you can pick up through Amazon or Audible. And I think it'd be a great listen for someone over Christmas if they want to digest the information, and it's going to help them set their plans ahead for next year. There's an introduction audio on the link that'll give some more insight into the book before people purchase it, if that assists them in understanding a lot more about what we're doing here with sales and marketing.
Final question today, Adele. Tell us what success looks like if you do become a truly sales-focused CEO.
Success looks like a sales team and a marketing organisation that are 100% aligned. So they're all working to the same goal, which is your strategy. And for the success in the top line, I would expect to see a minimum 25 to 40% increase in sales over a 1 to 2 year period, which is sustainable. And I'd be seeing lifts in the bottom line of EBITDA of at least 2, 3, maybe 5% lifts in actual cash back to the owners.
Well, that's compelling.
It is. That's why we need to be more focused on what we're doing.
That was Adele Crane, CEO of Sales Focus Advisory and author of The Sales Focused CEO. To find out more and to purchase, head to the link in the show notes of this episode. This episode of Business Essentials Daily is produced by the team at SoundCartel. Thanks for listening. I'm Nicole Goodman. We'll bring you more Be Daily tomorrow. Follow @BE Daily Podcast across social media and head to bedaily.com.au for more from the Business Essentials Daily podcast. SoundCartel. This episode was brought to you by Mazars. To find out more, visit mazars.com.au. That's mazars.com.au.